Jason's paw. The bracelet came off, but the minute I placed it on the counter, a voice rang out. "How does this work, Ava?" A deep voice rang out from the bracelet. "I thought mine was different from Josh's," Eris whispered. She must have known what was happening. "I'm not sure. He said we should both drop our blood and then speak. And it will do the rest." A feminine voice rang out. It must belong to her mother, the late queen. "Okay, let me start." "Dear Arabella," the man started when the woman interrupted. "We agreed on Aries, Zell." Queen Eva protested. "No, you wanted Aries." "I like Arabella. Besides, we are carving your choice on the bracelet," Love the king said. "It's okay. Let's do this fast. We don't know how long the message can last," for the queen said. I hear sniffs and look up to find Aries with watered eyes. I didn't say anything and just stroked her hand that was still in mine. I knew what she was feeling. She was both happy and sad to be hearing her parents' voice for the first time. "Hi, princess. We are doing this in case we are not there to watch you grow up one day. Her father said if you are hearing this, that must mean you found your mate," her mother gushed, while her father grumbled in the background disapprovingly. "We wanted you to know we locked your powers for a reason. We had no other choice. It was a fail-safe in case we couldn't protect you one day," her mother said. "As a royal, there are certain perks the moon goddess has given us. You must have found that out by now," she continued. "The first you can do on your own, but the second gift is shared between you and your mate," her father said. I looked up at her and faced the bracelet again. "You need to perform a ritual to share the gift. We are granted access to harness elemental power. Find the oldest person in the pack that you can trust and have him / her combine the earth, fire, water, and air. Then she has to rub the mixture on both of your foreheads," her mother said. "The ritual allows you to share your gift, princess. Since you are a girl, you were born with the affinity for water and air. It's rare to have two affinities. But that makes you special, princess," her father said. "When you perform the ritual, he should be fire." I turned to her and see her looking with wide eyes at me. "This power not only makes you both strong, it deepens the mate bond." Her mother said, "There's a lot we want to tell you, but I doubt we have the time. I'm sure your mate is there with you right now. Treat my daughter right or I'm coming for you." I almost felt threatened. I could almost feel the menacing aura. "Zell," her mother said, and Eris snorts out a laugh at their banter. "I'm sorry we are not there with you, Aris, but I want you to know that we love you." She said, "We love you," Princess, her father echoed. "How do we end this before my daughter starts hearing me cry?" her father said. We head shuffling before the voice cuts off and the bracelet light dies off. She starts crying when the voice ends and I hug her to my chest. With each tear that drops, my heart breaks for her. Few minutes pass before she stops. "Come on. The water must be cold by now." I picked her up and placed her into the tub with myself. Her softness molds into me and my dick stirs in reaction. It wasn't the moment, but I couldn't help but react to her. I sit across from her as we eat. I made us bacon and eggs. We've received smiles and looks since we got down, making her feel shy. My thoughts are still on what happened last night. It was incredible. Satiating her made me feel more alive than satisfying myself. I could worship her body all night long without getting tired, but we had bigger fish to fry. Maverick is after her. We had to perform a ritual, and she needs to train now more than ever. Her plate scrapes as he places her spoon down. "What do you want to do today?" she asked. "You," I say, and watch her cheeks redden. She smiles shyly before covering my mouth and shaking her head. "Why would you say that in public?" she asked, and looked around if there were any witnesses. It was adorable. "'Cause it's the truth." I chuckle and kiss her hands. "But since you don't want that, I'm going to question Haley about Maverick," I say, and she sobers up. Her face falls at the mention of his name. We need to know how close he is, and I can only know that if I know where he attacked her. I know, she whispered. The sooner I send scouts out, the better our preparation will be. I don't doubt I can take him, but I can't fight a blind battle. I don't want anyone to get hurt because of me. Eris said I don't want you to get hurt. It's going to be fine. Trust me. We will need to hold a meeting with the pack to inform them of what's coming, okay? But first, I need to question Haley. Give me a second, I said to her. Luke, I mind link with Luke. How was your night? I could hear the tease in his voice. It was great, I smirk. I don't need details, man. I wasn't gonna give you one. I need you to meet me at Josh's place in 10 minutes. He instantly gets serious. What's wrong? I'll fill you in after we question someone, I tell him. The rogue? I knew something was wrong with her sudden invasion, he said. Meet me there. I need to leave now, Aries. I stood and kissed her head. Call me if you need anything, I said before I left. Luke meets me at the front of Josh's place. The guards stationed to watch were still there. They nod in greeting to Luke and we return the gesture. Josh, open up, Luke said, knocking. The door opens. Alpha. Luke, he nodded in greeting. Where's Haley? I need to ask her a few questions, I said immediately. Come in. Has she given you any other information? I asked as we walked to where his mate was. Not really. Alpha Haley greets as I come into her line of sight. I grunt in reply. I need to ask you a few questions, I said to her. Go ahead, Alpha. Why did you come here after the attack? How close is Maverick to the pack? Where were you when you guys were attacked? I fire questions after questions at her. Let her answer, Jason Luke voiced. He attacked when we were not too far from the Red Moon pack. She answered. The Red Moon pack is about 3 packs away from ours. That means he's close. I'm not sure what led me here. I just had a feeling I had to come here, and I did. She finished. What's happening, Jason? Luke asked in confusion. I release a low growl and answer someone is coming after my mate, and he's close. Jason's pav. Why am I just hearing this? Luke asked. I didn't think he was that close by. I sigh, and rubbed my face, and everyone fell silent. If we are ready, it won't be a surprise attack, Josh said, interrupting the silence. Carlton will have to up the training. I'll help, he finished. Okay, I'll send a word to Carlton. You both will work together and come up with something, I said to Josh. You are with me, Luke. I'll fill you in, Luke nods in reply. Until I tell the pack myself, I don't want any rumors going around. I warn everyone present, including Haley. She could blab her mouth to the wrong person. Maybe a guard who'd tell another. Then it would spread like wildfire, causing panic. We left Josh's place and returned back to my office. We had to come up with something fast. What's up, man? Where do I start? I asked. The beginning would be nice, Luke said. I nodded. Well, my mate, your Luna, is the last of the royal bloodline. She's royalty? He asked. Yes, and now her first mate is after her. Did you know who she was before you accepted her into the pack? He asked in an accusing tone as he started pacing. No. I accepted her into the pack because she's my mate, and she saved my daughter. Have you forgotten that part, Luke? I asked in a hard tone with clenched jaws. I'm just saying he said I am your Alpha, and she's your Luna, and that's final. I said. And he sighed in resignation. I'm not questioning your judgment, Jason. I would fight for you. I would fight with you to protect her and the pack, okay? You are my best friend. He paused. I know. I sighed. I admit. You've been happier since she came along, but you've also been focusing most of your energy on her. He said. Well, excuse for trying to get my mate to trust me and provide the pack with a Luna. You know I don't mean it that way, he sighed. What are we gonna do? First, I need a list of the nearby packs. We are gonna set up a meeting and sign a treaty with them. The two closest packs to us are Alpha Kane's pack and Alpha Killian's pack, he said. Killian's pack never sign treaties. He doesn't trust anyone, and Kane doesn't do anything that is not beneficial to him. I mull over his words. He was right. The only way to convince them to work with us is to promise them something in return, or give them a reason to want this also. Send a message to both packs requesting an audience with them. If we can get those two on our side, others might cooperate easier, I said to him. I'll just have to work on my pitch. Got it. He nodded and went to work on it. The next issue is to figure out how we'll perform the ritual, or if she wants to. The oldest person in the pack right now is Lila and Wyatt. Wyatt's been bedridden for years now. That leaves us with Lila. The same Lila Ares had a feeling about when she saw her. It was a good feeling, but still I couldn't help but worry. But first, can everyone please gather at the pack's hall? I have an announcement to make. Everyone except those on duty, I said to everyone. You too, beautiful. This is concerning us, I tell her separately. As I made my way to the hall, the sound of feet shuffling and voices got louder. Everyone was making assumptions of what I could possibly want to say. The noise quiets down as they notice my presence and that of Ares. Hello, everyone. I know you all might be busy with your duties or schedules, but I wouldn't have called you all out here if it wasn't important. I began with Ares standing at my side like it should be. I'm sure you all must have noticed the change in hierarchy from the pack link. Heads bobs in confirmation, meet your Luna, my mate, Ares. Whistles and cheers ring out around us. They were taking it better than I expected. Finally, someone shouted from the crowd. But that's not all. Someone is coming after your Luna. He's close, and so far he doesn't mind killing people to get what he wants. My words sober everyone up. The last place he was spotted was close to the Red Moon pack. I'll need some volunteers. Only volunteers to spy on their camp. I look around, waiting for someone, anyone to step up. You will be properly trained before you leave. Hands started to slowly rise in the air. The number went from 10 to 20 volunteers in minutes. I nodded in respect to them all. As for the rest of you all, your training with Carlton will be supported by Josh. I need you to be able to defend yourselves if we are ever attacked. I look each one in the eye as I speak. Ares stepped up and everyone held their breath. Hi, everyone. I know you've been seeing me around for weeks now, and you are probably just wondering why we just completed the mate bond now. It's none of their business. Love, I interrupt her. Luke and some of the guys laugh at that. I just want you to know that we didn't complete the bond because I needed a pack to fight for me. So if you don't want to be involved in the upcoming war, a fail-safe plan will be put in place for you, and you will be protected by some pack warriors that will be left behind. She informed them before stepping down. I hadn't even thought of a fail-safe, but she did. After the loss we faced at the last attack, she's already thinking of a fail-safe. That way kids won't lose their parents, and vice versa. I see their admiration for her increase as she says those words. That would be all, I said. Everyone dispersed except Ares, Luke, and Carlton. You can still go on a date with me if Alpha messes up, Carlton said, winking at my mate. I knew he was teasing her, but that doesn't stop the possessive growl that comes from me. Do you like being head of security? I asked Carlton. Jason. Yeah, he said. Do you think you'll remain head of security if you continue to test my patience? I snarled in warning at him, releasing my aura. Apologies, Alpha. He bowed his head in submission. I nodded at his submission and withdrew the aura. I wouldn't just relieve him of his post. He's the best we got, but I had to get my point across. Carlton, I don't know. Can you juggle Era's training along with the packs? I can join in when he's training the pack from now on. It's okay to shift in front of him now, Ares said, looking at me for silent approval. I nodded at her subtly. The guys are going to shed a few tears when they see you train. Carlton chuckled with a faraway look in his eyes. You think her human form is impressive? Wait till you see Athena. Her wolf Josh interrupted him. Don't shift in front of the entire pack, though. Not until after I deal with our problem with Maverick. I said mind linking her, and she nodded. I turned back to Luke. Any news? I've sent a message to Alpha Killian's pack and Alpha Kane's pack. Surprisingly, Killian asked for a meeting with you first, Luke said. When? I asked. He said tomorrow. At 10. Aries Pav. After the announcement at the hall, Madison and Isabel made it their mission to badger me for details. I told them I wanted to hang out with Adriana since Jason was busy looking for a solution to our problem, but that did not deter them. Not even a little. They questioned me in front of Addie. By the time night came, I was spent. All I looked forward to was just cuddling with Jason to sleep. Which we did. Then, we had an early morning sex and a be careful sex, as he prepared to leave for Killian's pack. Is there anyone that can perform the ritual for us? I asked. Lila and Wyatt are the oldest in the pack. But only Lila is fit enough to perform it, he said, as he put on his shirt. I got up and helped him with it. Can she do it for us? I'll ask her when I get back, he said, but we'll only do it if you are absolutely sure you want to. I am, I said. Okay, he nodded. I don't want you to shift in front of everyone today. You can select a few that you think you can trust, Jason said. Listen to Athena. She'll know who to trust. I nodded and asked, what about you? I'm going to try and convince a maniac werewolf to work with us, he shrugged. Don't come back with injuries, I said, and try not to die. I won't. He leaned down and kissed me. This kiss was different. It was slow. It held all of his emotions for me. His love, his worries, his feelings. He channeled it all into the kiss, and I reciprocated. As usual, he made breakfast for Adriana and I before he left. The little things like this that he does makes me love him even more. Oh my God, I love him. I don't know when it happened or how it happened. I just do. There's only one thing left to do. Tell him. I leave to join the rest of the pack for training. I receive looks, some in respect, others distrust. Mostly from Allison and her clique. She walked up to me immediately. That we're done with their training, you couldn't wait to dig your claws into him. I release Athena's full aura as I spoke. You're being disrespectful, Allison. I might have allowed you to talk to me this way before, but I will not take any disrespect from you now. The two others with her back down and submitted, while Allison hesitated. She walked away after some of the guys came to stand behind me. The silent move of theirs was a declaration that they already saw me as their Luna, and I couldn't be more grateful. Few days of training with Carlton and I am beating everyone on the field. Carlton was right. I did make some of the guys cry at the sound of their ego breaking. I shift in front of Luke and Carlton after everyone leaves. The size of Athena shocks them both. Wanna fight or what? I said to Carlton provocatively through the mind link. Oh, let's tango. Luna, Carlton, and shifted. The look of excitement on Luke's face as he watched was so obvious. Ready? He asked us both, and we growled in response. Go. We wasted no time lunging at each other. As we land on our paws, Carlton wastes no time lunging for me again, his muscles rippling with power. He left no opening for me, unlike Josh. Josh was distracted but still held his own against me, but Carlton was focused. Thank the moon goddess for my speed. It must have had to do with my air affinity. I was fast and was able to dodge with fluid movement. He called it muscle memory. Luke just stood on the side, cheering us on. Do better, Carlton. Go for his legs, Luna. He kept yelling at both of us. He was enjoying this way too much. We snarled, circling each other. I made a split-second decision to launch a swift attack at him. Carlton countered with brute force, and we clashed midair. Neither of us are willing to yield or give an opening. You almost have him, Luna. Just tire him out, Luke yelled from the side, laughing at Carlton, who snarled at him. As the battle intensified, our emotions swirled a mix of tension, anticipation, and respect for each other. The adrenaline buzz was intoxicating. In a decisive moment, as Carlton seized an opening, Luke's voice rose above the fray. "Carlton! Wait!" His interruption caught Carlton's attention, momentarily distracting him. I seized the opportunity, swiftly maneuvered, and delivered a calculated strike that caught Carlton off guard. With a powerful lunge, I managed to destabilize Carlton, sending him crashing to the floor. We both shift, and I high-five Luke. "You cheated," Carlton said, pointing at both of us. "There was no rule," he shrugged. "There's always a rule, and you know that. We were training. I'm supposed to push her to her limit," Carlton argued. I must have forgotten. Maybe next time. Besides, it's not your fault you got distracted when I called your name." He shrugged. "Sorry, Carlton." I winced in apology. "I know I cheated." "It's okay. You did good. You followed your instincts and knew when to dodge and when to attack." He praised most people just attack blindly with any thought of what comes next, and that ends up killing them. "Hunting for food will do that to you," I shrugged. "Good job, RS." "I like anyone that can knock out Carlton," Luke said. "I like it here. I've made new friends, apart from Allison. No one really bothers me here. This pack has seen loss, yet they are still welcoming to strangers." "I'm sorry. Jason made you stay behind, especially since you set the meeting with them," I said to him as we walked back to the pack house. "I'm needed here. Besides, he's with Josh." He shrugged. "You know?" I asked. "He told me this morning." "I know Josh is also a beta." He paused. "Your beta, which makes him higher ranking than me. So I'm fine with it. I always felt he was more on par with Jason, but now that Jason's your mate, I figured he'd do a better job protecting him over there than I would." "How bad could this Killian possibly be?" I asked. "He's not bad in the general sense, but he enjoys cracking people's defenses. He's manipulative to a certain extent," he answered. "Should I be worried?" I asked, like I wasn't already. "I guess you've never seen Jason fight. He's all nice and shit, but when he lets Dax out, no one can stop him." I looked at him and saw the admiration he had for his alpha. "Not even me." Jason's POV. The terrain changed the closer we got to the Jade Wolf pack. Killian's pack. This would be my second time visiting here. I came once with my dad when I was 12. Now it just looked unfamiliar to me. We arrived at the border of Killian's territory, and we met vigilant guards. They looked like Carlton's size, but moved with such quietness that rivaled ninjas. They escorted us through the dense forest to the heart of the pack. The atmosphere crackled with tension, an aura of suspicion and rivalry hanging in the air. Killian is a stern and shrewd alpha, one that people hardly see, but his reputation for how he treated trespassers and rogues had spread far and wide. He awaited our arrival. I had to leave the 2 guards I came with outside and walked in only with Josh. As we stepped into his office, his piercing gaze bore into me, a calculated display of authority and scrutiny. "Jason," Killian greeted, his tone cool and guarded. "Killian," I responded with measured respect, carefully hiding the distrust I felt. "Shall we?" He spread his hands across the table. The negotiation for the treaty commenced, but Killian was proving to be a tough negotiator, his demands becoming more irrational the more we negotiated. He scrutinized every clause, raised pointed questions, and challenged the proposal I worked on with Luke last night. "I am not convinced that your pack is committed to upholding these terms," Killian remarked, his skepticism palpable. It was getting harder to maintain my composure. "I'm aware of the delicate balance between assertiveness and diplomacy required in such negotiations, a lesson Dad taught me." I took a deep breath and addressed his concerns, presenting evidence of his pack's dedication to the proposed terms and emphasizing the mutual benefits of the alliance. I will never go back on a promise. I said if we do this, we are both signing to be there for each other if the time ever comes. I said for nth time. Maverick's coming. He won't hold back fire just because you are innocent. I said he's not after me. He's after your mate and your pack. I could always tell him where to find her, he shrugged. But you won't. I countered. What makes you so sure? He said, leaning forward. You don't bend to anyone's demands easily. We share a look, fusing our auras and asserting dominance. The negotiations stretched into the night, the air thick with tension and a struggle for compromise. Killian's unyielding stance tested my patience and diplomacy, but the eye remained steadfast, determined to secure an agreement that would benefit both our packs. You ask for much, Jason, yet offer little in return, Killian remarked, his voice laden with skepticism. I recognized the necessity for concessions and recalibrated my approach. Change the terms, Josh said into my mind. I offer compromises and adjust the terms to meet his concerns without compromising my pack's integrity. If he wasn't going to take the deal, then we'd leave right now. After hours of arduous negotiation and strategic discourse, Killian's demeanor softened. I like your persistence, Jason. It's commendable. You know most people would have given up. He said, how about we find a common ground? He looked past me to Josh. A look flashed across his eyes before they disappear. I'm fine with that, I said, releasing a wary sigh. He's finally conceding, albeit reluctantly. We shall sign this treaty, but be warned it's a fragile accord, he warned, his tone still guarded. I won't fight a losing battle. When your scouts get back and you've come up with a plan, send a message to me. Despite the grueling negotiations, I felt a sense of relief and accomplishment. You'll be in the loop of things, I said, and we both signed and shook hands. It's late now. I couldn't wait to see Aries and sink into her warm, welcoming softness. It's been a long day. Apart from Killian being difficult, this went better than I expected. As we departed from Killian's territory, the moon casting its gentle glow upon the forest, I knew the journey ahead would be challenging. However, we just took the first step in this long game. He must have heard about the destruction Maverick's doing, Josh said beside me. I know, I replied. Killian might be shrewd, but I doubt he'd put his pack in danger just to appease his sadistic side. At least he didn't make us duel one of his guys like he does to the other packs. I know that's why you brought me along instead of Luke. He said I brought you along because I needed Luke to remain at the pack, and Aries wanted me to bring you along to ease her mind. We don't speak the rest of the drive back. I found Lila in the common room as I entered. Lila? I called, walking towards her, and she turned to me. I was wondering if you could perform a ritual for us? I asked. It depends. What kind of ritual am I performing? If it's necromancy, then I would have to refuse, she said. If I wanted to perform necromancy, I would have done that since. I joked, I need you to perform a ritual for Aries, and We can give you the details when you are ready. Okay. How about tomorrow night? That's okay. Thanks. Good night. Good night. I walk into the room to find her already sleeping. I fight a mental battle with myself about waking her up or not. I decided on the latter. I tuck her in properly before leaning in to kiss her forehead and head to the bathroom. I had to wash away the stress of the day. Talking to Killian was a mental battle, one that wasn't exactly pleasurable. Maverick's POV. It's been 3 months since I rejected and had Aries thrown out. 2 months since I forced my dad into retirement, and a month and a half since I started searching for her. I have no idea if what the girl said was right, but since my dad started acting strangely after that day, I suspect she was. She claimed to be a seer, yet she couldn't tell me where I would find her. giving me vague clues and cryptic messages. I would have killed her if she wasn't necessary. We've been at this for weeks now, Maverick. It's time we call it off, James said to me. He was against sending her away in the first place. No one's calling anything off until I say so, I said through clenched teeth. I needed to go talk to that seer again. If she wasn't going to say anything meaningful, then perhaps her usefulness is overrated. Or maybe she needed a little motivation. Something to get her moving. Get up, I shouted at her, halting her meditation. No one will zen if I don't get what I want. Temper, Maverick, she said in that condescending tone as she rose to her feet. I lift her up with her neck. The more she clawed at my hands wrapped around her neck and released sounds of choking, the more in control I felt, the more power I feel. If you don't tell me something useful, you might have to die tonight along with the rogues awaiting execution outside, I said, threatening her. I see the fear in her eyes. She knew I would really do it. No remorse whatsoever. She was choking on her words. I release my grip on her, but keep my hands around her neck. Speak, I spat at her in fury. We are close, she said, drawing in the air. How close? I asked. I don't know, she said, and I tightened my hand a little. The spirit said we're so close. You just have to trust me, she shouted with all her strength. I paused my movement before I released her fully. If we don't find her soon, I'm going to detach your head from your body, I said slowly, letting my words sink and the fear rise. I knew it was fear. Her heart started racing after I said the last part of the sentence. I went back to my tent to find Ashley already undressed and waiting for me. It would have been a good sight if she had anything else to offer. Her constant nagging along with James was getting on my nerves. Put on your clothes, Ashley. I'm not interested, I warned her gently. Besides warning me against looking for Aries, I still found her attractive, and I don't regret choosing her over her sister. I only regret not taking her powers for myself before I chased her away. Why? She asked in her seductive voice. I'm not in the mood right now, Ashley, I sighed. She does as I say, and Sir beside me. Will this all be over when we find her? Yes. If the girl doesn't fail at performing the ritual that transfers her power, I said. Okay. Then all we have to do is speed up the process of finding her. Did she say if we were close? She asked yes, but she didn't mention how close. Are you sure your parents never said anything about Ares' power? Or give any clue of what it might be? I questioned her loyalty again. If she was hiding something, now would be the best time to fess up. No, nothing. They used to whisper at night when she was young, but I never heard anything useful from it. I barely even remember their words, she said. I listened to her heartbeat. It doesn't accelerate or change tempo. She wasn't lying, or she was very good at hiding it. Okay, this might take a while. Don't wait up, I informed her as I went back out. I felt like blowing up some steam. What better way to do that than spilling some blood? Deedon! I yelled into the night. Footsteps walked towards me. Alpha, he answered. Bring out our friends. I want to introduce myself, I smirked. He nodded and left. 2 minutes pass before he comes back, dragging 4 others with him that were chained together and bruised. 3 guys and a girl. Hello. Let me introduce myself. I'm Maverick, I said, placing back and forth, and I was wondering if you could help with a quest of mine. It's a simple quest one starts to speak when I cut him off. Don't say no just yet. You haven't heard the reward for helping, I smiled maniacally. What do you want? One of the guys asked simple. If any of you can tell me where I might find Ares, you might have the chance of surviving the night, and maybe, just maybe, joining my pack. What do you say? I asked, looking each of them in the eye. We don't know anyone by that name, the girl whispered tiredly. Maybe you don't. but I'm sure someone you know does. All you have to do is point me in their direction. I leaned in towards her. I don't know, she stuttered, bursting into tears. I stood up. That just makes you useless to me. I signaled to Deaton, who bashed her head repeatedly until her brain matter splattered on the floor. Some of the blood splashed on my face, and I licked the ones on my lips. Who's next? Do you also have no idea? I asked the rest of them. They were shaking in fear now, looking at the remains of their friend. I asked again. I heard rumors. The one close to the dead girl finally spoke up. Now we are getting somewhere. I smiled at him. What rumors? I heard rumors about a lone wolf. He stuttered in a small voice. Speak up. I heard that she didn't join any of the rogue cliques, but I also never heard of her joining another pack either, he said. And where was the last place she was spotted? I asked curiously. Somewhere near here. I could show you. I know where it is. He stuttered in fear. My friend. Your value to me just rose a tidbit. I smiled at him, placing my hands on his shoulder. Dispose the rest. Keep him, I said to Deaton. I turned to the rogue and smiled. Congratulations on surviving the night. Erez Pov. We all gathered in Jason's office to discuss yesterday's meeting with the Jade Wolf Pack. By we, I meant Jason, Luke, Josh, Carlton, and I. How was it? Luke asked. It was okay. It went better than I expected, Jason answered. Don't sugarcoat it, Alpha. He was a total nut job. Everything you both worked on was tweaked in one way or another to suit his taste, Josh said. No blood was spilled, right? I asked them both. None of ours. Though I can't say the same to whoever was screaming at their dungeons. Josh answered. We now have an ally. His main request is that we keep him in the loop of things. Jason said. Carlton, is 2 weeks enough to train the volunteers? It's not enough, but I can try, Carlton said. That's good enough for me. There's this thing I noticed at Killian's pack, Jason said. We all looked at him, waiting to hear what it was. Josh, do you remember how they walked stealthily? He turned to Josh. Yeah. It was almost as if they were walking on air. We could barely hear the sound of dried leaves crunching at their feet. Josh answered they were the ultimate apex predator. You want me to teach the guys? Carlton asked. Yes. Do you think it's possible? Jason asked. Yeah, he answered. Okay. I'll hold you to your words, Jason replied. I doubt there's anything else you need me here for, Carlton voiced. I better get to it. The sooner the better. I'll come help you out later, Josh said to Carlton, nodded in reply before leaving the room. I've asked Lila if she can perform the ritual for us. She said she can. What ritual? Luke, you figured it out? Josh smiled. How did you do it? I'd rather not tell you the process, I said, coughing in mild embarrassment. But it worked. Almost the same as yours. And her parents told us how to go about it, Jason said. Again. What ritual are we talking about? Is there something else I don't know yet? Luke bellowed. Sigh. Well, you know the part about Ares being the last royal. But what you don't know is that the royal family has a special power that they can share with their mate. Jason said. What do you mean by special power? That's the part I can't explain. We'll all know when we perform the ritual tonight. Okay. Any word from Kane yet? Jason asked Luke. Not yet. Should I send another request for a meeting with them? No. That would make us look desperate. We are desperate, Luke said, stating the obvious. True, but we don't want them to know that. I want him to find out about our deal with Killian. So he'd want to seize the opportunity, Josh said. Yes, let's come up with something that he won't say no to when that happens. And that's our cue to leave, Your Highness, Josh said, winking at me. Wink at her again, and I'll pluck out your eyes and serve it on a platter to your mate. Jason's low threat hung in the air. I can't say I don't enjoy this possessive side of him. If anything, it's kind of a turn-on. Relax, man. I don't see her that way. Josh tutted at him. Here's an idea. You are both not shrewd enough to deal with fellow alphas, like Killian, for example. But you have someone in your arsenal, that is. Who? Luke and Jason echoed. Cole. Josh said he works with the most shrewd creatures on the planet, and he's been making it look effortless. He shrugged at the last part. What did you mean? I asked curiously. Humans. They are the most shrewd creatures. You can never know what they're thinking or planning, but Cole has managed to work with them easily. Get him to do it. That makes sense, Luke voiced after a moment of silence, and I nodded in agreement. Was all Jason said to his suggestion. I could tell from the mate bond that he was still angry at the wink, but he knew Josh's idea was good. I subtly move closer to him and touch him. He instantly calms down. I'll call Cole. We need to be as prepared as possible. All right. I better go and assist Carlton before he kills one of the volunteers, he said, before leaving the room. Aries, is it all right if I choose where to get the sand we need from? Jason said through the pack link. Yes, I nodded. Luke, I need you to do something for me, he said out loud. What's that? I'm gonna need you to get water from the stream. You can use a bottle or a fetcher. Whichever one is fine. He said, I'm gonna need it before nightfall. Okay. I'm guessing it's for the ritual. Yeah. Jason nodded while I prepare the rest. All right. Please excuse me, Luna, he said before leaving. He's been a lot less guarded towards me since Jason and I completed the mate bond. Now it was just Jason and I in the office. What do I do? I ask. Nothing. Everyone is contributing except me. I said there's not much you need to do. You being here is enough, but I want to do more. I'm the reason we're in this mess. I sighed heavily. No. That damn pup who doesn't know when to give up is the reason we're in this mess, and with each passing second, he loses more of his mind. But it's gonna be fine. Trust me. I do. I trust you. I said good. He stood up and kissed my head. Here's the key to the office. Where I'm getting the sand is a little walk from here. I need to leave now so I can come back in time, he said. I'm leaving too. I'd see if there's anything I can learn from Carlton and Josh's training. You'd learn, but you might also distract the others, he said. Then I'll hang out with Adriana until it's time. Your choice, beautiful, he said, kissing my cheeks before leaving the office. Jason and Luke get back a few hours earlier. Josh and Luke were already waiting with Lila at the clearing. We decided to do it far away from the pack compound and far away from prying eyes. The term, the walls have ears, wasn't going to be tested today. Secrecy was a must. If Maverick already knows where I am, or if he has managed to get into one of the heads of a pack member, then we need a trump card up our sleeves. I hear Josh and Luke's voices as we arrive at the clearing. Josh is here as my sworn beta and protector, while Luke was here as Jason's best friend and beta. Where are they? I hear Lila's voice before I see her as Jason and I walk to where they were. We're here, he answered for us. Once I begin, I can't stop the ritual. She warned us. Are you ready? She asked us both. We turned to each other and answered yes. She brought along a small cauldron and lit the logs underneath it that they had set up earlier. The water. Luke, she said to Luke, who passed her the fetcher he stored the water in. She put it in the cauldron and we all waited until it started boiling. The sand to represent the earth. She stretched her hands to Jason. I haven't asked him where he went to pick it up from. You did well, Jason, Lila said after receiving the sand. I turned to him in question. It's from my parents' grave. Since they couldn't be here, I wanted them to be a part of this, he explained. I smiled at him. I understood him, but I couldn't understand how she could tell. If the powers hadn't supported Alpha Matt's decision to kick me out of the pack, I would have loved to have them here too. I know they didn't have a choice, but it doesn't make it hurt any less. The wind picked up, fueling the fire and blowing the rising steam from the cauldron to our faces, completing the final ingredient. It was a perfectly timed coincidence. She mixed the paste and killed the fire before turning the substance into a bowl. "Give me your hands," she asked us both, and we stretched them towards her. She brought out an old-looking vine that looked like it could snap, and the littlest stretch of our hands. She tied our hands together with it, and it held, surprisingly strong. I give Jason a questioning look, and he shrugs with his free shoulder. This was obviously not part of the instructions my parents left. I'd know 'cause I've listened to it almost 100 times now, but I'll go with the flow. Maybe she likes the flare. With this, I call on the elements and the spirit to favor you. She rubbed the paste on my head. I could feel the heat of the paste, but it was cool on my skin. The sensation was soothing. With this, I call on the elements and the spirit to favor you, she said, rubbing the mix on Jason's forehead. The wind picked up violently after she did Jason's, not in a threatening manner, more like an embrace, wrapping us both in Mother Nature's arms. "I want you both to drop your blood on the vine," she shouted over the wind. We did as she said. Questions could come later. The vine started to untie itself at the drop of our blood, and the wind finally stopped. After the last knot was loosened, she spoke up. "I want you to visualize water on your fingertips, Luna." I did as she asked and felt the mist in the air gathering around my hand to form water good. "Now, imagine it in larger quantity," she said, and I did as I was told. The quantity increased so much I had to use both hands to try and control it. Water can be used as an offensive weapon and also a defensive one if you learn to control it, she said. Her voice sounded ethereal at that moment, same for air. If you focus enough, you'd be able to lift things or even yourself. Mind you, you can also flame it. "This is all sorts of freaky," Luke interrupted. "Can you do this also?" "You know, as royal beta and all." "No, I can't. But what compensates for that is my strength. I was granted enough strength so I could protect her." "Always," Josh replied. "You're basically humble bragging about being stronger than me." Luke squinted his eyes at Josh. Yup. Jason interrupted their banter at that moment. "Guys, we need to focus here. If you can stop the side talks, that would be much appreciated. Alpha, I want you to think of fire. Those fiery, hot flames. Good. Now, imagine it all over your body." "My body. Won't I be burnt to a crisp?" Jason bellowed. "It's your fire. It can't hurt you. It had better not. There's still so many things I haven't done with Ares. TMI Alpha. You don't see me saying all the details about Madison. And I about Ashley." My cheeks were flushed, but I still warned him through our link focus, Jason. "But it's true. There's so many things I haven't done with you yet." He was finally able to do it. The flames started from his hands and spread through his body. "Luna, touch him." "Wait, what?" Josh unconsciously moved protectively to my side. "It won't harm her. It was hers to begin with, although innate. She's just giving it to him. He's made it his, but the flames would still obey her. Besides, you can control the water and the wind. Whichever one will blow him out." She shrugged. I nodded and stretched my hands to Jason. I could see him fighting a war in his eyes. He didn't want to take any chances if he might hurt me. That's what set him apart from Maverick. "It's okay," I whispered when he pulled his hands away from mine. "It's okay," I said again, affirmatively, before he gave them to me. I manipulated the air to increase the flames, but yet anywhere I touched felt cool instead of hot. We smiled in wonder. This was just the beginning. Maverick's in for a world of hurt if he attacks. When we got back to the room, I had to ask the questions that had been bothering me. How does she know the ritual? What were the vines for? How long have you known her? Why did she know what to say? Even my parents didn't say anything about that. I've known her for a while. She used to come and go when my parents were still alive. She started staying fully after they died. As for the other questions, I don't know. Beautiful. But my wolf trusts her. So does Athena, I whispered. Let's hope she means well. Wait for me. Adriana screamed as she ran around with the other kids. They were avoiding bath time. Stop running this instant, Bean. Jason followed after her. Childlike giggles filled the air with each escape from the adults. Catch me, Daddy, she giggled, jumping about. Jason could have easily caught her, but he was enjoying this as much as she was. You are gonna fall from there. He screamed when he saw her trying to jump from the kitchen island. How she got there, no one knows. Adriana being Adriana, she took it as a personal challenge and jumped. We all held our breath at the sound of her bone breaking when she landed. Jason and I rushed to her. He lifted her carefully as she bawled her eyes out. The other kids' laughter also ceased. I motioned for them to take them away. The sight of Adriana's hand bent at a weird angle might be traumatizing for them. Can I try something? I asked him. Yeah, his voice was hoarse. He felt his daughter's pain. Can you close her eyes for me? Okay. He did so. I closed my eyes and imagined water at my palms, and then placed it on her broken hands. Then I imagined the water healing them. By the time I opened them, it was already healed, and she had stopped crying. Can you do that? Did you know you could do that? He asked, shocked. That much power made me feel a little dizzy. No. But I'm glad it worked. Jason's pav. It's been 3 days since the ritual, and 2 days since Ares healed Adriana, who was now more clingy than ever to her. Even going as far as throwing tantrums to sleep on the same bed with Ares. I let it happen, but not anymore. I can't take the couch again. How is it going? I asked Carlton as I inspected the training. Well, more than a few have dropped out. Now, it's just these 12, but expect more to drop. I sighed. I guess I expected that, but hearing it still dampens the mood. Increase the training hours, so those that want to leave will leave now, and we can cater for who's left. We're already doing 5 hours a day. If I increase it for another 2 or 3, they might all break. It's a necessary evil. Do it. Okay. Alpha, Kane's here. He's at the border right now, Luke informs me through the pack link. Who is he with? I ask him, just him and a guard. Either he's been too cautious or something's going on. He delayed the meeting all this, while only for him to turn up at my pack. Bring him to my office, I said, heading there myself. I've had Cole work with me for the new treaty, and Josh was right. With each clause he wrote, he hit a loophole for us. If the other party doesn't look close enough, they wouldn't notice it. Barely a few minutes after I settle in, a knock interrupts the stillness of my office. Come in. Jason, how have you been? Kane smiled all tooth at me. I reciprocate the gesture, albeit reluctantly. We weren't friends. Now I know he definitely wants something. Kane, it's been a while, I said as we shook hands. Please, sit. Thank you. I got your message. Sorry it took so long to respond. The insincerity in his apology was laughable. It's okay. There's no need for that again. But if I may ask, why are you here? I feigned my ignorance. Well, I would love to sign a treaty with you, he said, but there's no need for that anymore. I've already signed with Killian, I countered. You can never have too many allies, Jason, he said, leaning forward. True, but I proposed a treaty with you a week ago. Same day as Killian, and he responded the next day. Don't hold it against me. I was unaware of the threat ahead, he said. But I'm here now as a sign of good fate. What are you offering? He came to me. I'll milk him for all he's got. He's close to my pack. The scouts I sent out confirmed his location. How many scouts did you send out? 4. Only one came back fully. The other had one of his legs cut off, while the other two were killed. They were one of my best guys. So you are here because you know now that you can't face him alone. I said to him, what can you really offer me that I don't already have? Even if I had already prepared an agreement with him, I wasn't going to lay it on the table first. Fair. Here he passed me his own agreement. I read through each clause as carefully as ever. He's desperate. There's no telling what he can do. It's written here in Clause 9 that either of us are free to abandon the other, even in battle if the situation gets too dire. I looked up at him. My jaw ticked. You plan to use my pack as a sacrificial lamb to save your own skin. Am I a joke to you, Alpha Cain? The tension rose in the air as we both fought for dominance. The air was thick with tension. You can slice it with a butter knife. We stayed that way for a few seconds before he backed down. I don't mean to be disrespectful, Jason, but I've lost more people than I care to mention. I don't wish to add to the numbers, he said. You speak to me about loss, like you haven't heard what happened to me. Nearly half my pack was slaughtered, and you're telling me to be okay with you using the rest as sacrificial lamb to save yours? The anger in my tone is apparent. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it in that way. I'm just looking out for my pack, he said. So am I replied hostilely. Why don't you lay your terms on the table and we can discuss? I'm sure we can come to a consensus, he said after a heartbeat. I brought out what we worked on and laid it in front of him. He read through each one without giving it a second glance. Either he was really desperate or just didn't care. If there are no further renewal after a year, any party is allowed to terminate the agreement after the stipulated time. He read the last part out loud. Are the terms to your liking? I asked, all signs of hostility leaving my voice. The pleasant, easygoing Jason was back. He knows now not to push my buttons. Yes. If after a year I wish to continue the treaty, I'll let you know, he said, and we both signed. Cole was right. He was like those humans who download new apps and click on the agree button without reading the terms and agreement. In this case, I'm glad it worked in my favor. I escorted him back to the border. I'd like to be in the loop. As much as possible, I'll be sure to keep you posted. If you have any news on him, don't hesitate to send a message, I said. He paused in front of their car. That reminds me. I don't think he's working alone. Why'd you think that? I asked. My guys think there's a second party, but we're unable to confirm visual if it was male or female. He said that's all I know. That's plenty. Thank you. We shook hands again before he departed. I headed back to check in on Carlton and Josh. I needed progress. We might have to send them out earlier than planned. Where's everyone? I asked Josh, who was leaning on the iron bars, observing. Jason. This is what is left after Carlton increased the hours and the training. He pointed at the field. They were just 4 now out of 12. The number doesn't bother me much. I squinted my eyes at the blonde hair that swirled in the air. Is that? I turned to Josh. Is that Allison? I asked. Yeah. She joined after they all left. Why? I was genuinely curious and confused. Something about burying the hatchet and fighting for her Luna. She would never call Ares her Luna. She must have an ulterior motive, and you bought it? No. But if she dies out there, that's one less problem on our hands, he said, and started circling the arena. Keep your enemies close and your friends closer, right? I don't trust her, and neither does Carlton and Ares. I wonder what her endgame was. Maverick's POV. I've sent James back to the pack to ease the minds of those I left behind. It wasn't really a hard decision. He was already working my last nerve. It was either that, maim him, or kill him. I doubt the pack will trust me much if I killed my own beta. You've been searching for days now, Rogue. Is your sense of direction that bad? I said, hitting his already bruised face. I swear it was around here somewhere. I don't know why I can't find it anymore. He spat out another loose tooth and blood and started looking around frantically. You are becoming as useless as the seer. The only difference being you're disposable and she isn't. At least not yet. I swear, it was around here, he said again. You have repeated that word one too many times. I swear. Your swear means nothing if you can't back it up with facts or evidence. I knelt down to his level. I'll give you one more chance. So think carefully about your answers before you say them. Are we in the right direction when you saw her? I'm not sure anymore. Something's different. Wrong. I really saw her traveling once. Please spare me. He bursted into tears. His snort, tears and blood all mixed and ran down his face. The sight was appalling. I would have given you another chance, but I don't have a forgiving bone in my body, and I certainly don't have a second chance bone. So, I moved behind humans, wrapped the chains on his hands around his neck, and started pulling "This is the end of the road for you." The sound of his choking makes me whistle a happy tune. I didn't stop, but even after he took his last breath, I keep pulling till his head comes off. If the guards were horrified, they hit it well. All of them swallow at the same time. I assume that was puke they just took back. Only Deaton was in the same frequency as me, smiling at the sight of gore. If only he was born with beta blood and James wasn't my best friend. Oh well. Put his head on a spike and dispose of his body. I wiped my hands clean as I spoke. What pack is next? I asked, no one in particular. Crystal pack, Deaton answered, the rest silent as a mouse. They were all avoiding a one-on-one confrontation with me. I wonder why I don't bite, okay? I headed back to camp alone. Something's wrong, she said in that cryptic tone of hers. You don't say, I said sarcastically, rolling my eyes even though she couldn't see it, even I could tell, and I'm not psychic. Someone's helping her, she muttered. I wouldn't have caught it if not for my wolf hearing. What do you mean? I asked. Someone's helping her. The person is concealing her location from us, and I can't seem to break through it. I guess the rogue was right. He knew what he was saying. Someone was determined to hide her from me, and I'm gonna find out who. Aries Pav. It's nerve-wracking as I watch the volunteers prepare to leave. With each gear they arrange, I feel muscles coil on itself. I've ingrained each face into my memory. Well, all but one. Carlton helps them with their gears while giving them advice. Even if you're all going in at different points, put your safety first. If you feel like you're in danger, fall back and signal to the rest of the pack. And if you can't signal them, then leave a clue so they can find you. Your safety comes first. Remember, all you need to do is get in and get out. Any information you find is enough. Don't die out there, trying to prove something Jason instructed. I have a really bad feeling about sending them out. Especially with Allison as one of them. She might actually kill them before Maverick gets the chance to. They are about to walk into an enemy camp. While I appreciate that they're doing this for me, having someone's death on my conscience isn't exactly giving peace of mind. Whatever you do, make sure to come back in one piece. Remember everything you learned and use it, he said at last before they all departed. Now, all we had to do was wait. We don't know how long. It could be days, hours, or even a week. We all watch them until their silhouette fades from our sight. "Wanna grab something to eat?" Jason said, turning to me. "Actually, it would be best if you both work more on controlling your powers." Josh interrupted. "We already know Aries can heal with water and boost her speed with air. But what about you, Alpha? You haven't even tried using your powers in your true form." "I'm sure the powers will still be there until we finish eating. If you think your food can go down well, knowing you have Allison out there along with the others, then please, by all means." "Happy chowing," he sighed. "You know how to ruin a mood." "I know. Do you think I like doing this? I want to spend more time with my mate, But before that, I am RS guard and her beta. Her safety comes first, and I can only guarantee that if I know she can take care of herself with or without me. So please let me do my job. I don't doubt your loyalty, Josh. And I sincerely appreciate you looking out for my mate. I know that time is not on our side, but I don't want us to live in fear of what might happen tomorrow or in the future. I want us to enjoy today. So we can both take a half day and spend time with our mates. We can think about our problem later, Jason said. Okay, fine. That might just be your best speech yet, Josh winked, but I get it. I'll see you later, Luna. I nodded in reply before he left. Shall we? All that speech just to get me to have lunch with you. The food had better be amazing. I leaned in to kiss his cheeks before I walked away. It will be more than amazing. Trust me. Wow me, Alpha. Fuck, he muttered under his breath. Say that again. Say what? I feigned ignorance. What you just said. Oh, you mean Alpha? Alpha, I winked. You'll be the death of me, he whispered lustfully. Come on, Luna. This can't be the extent of your power, Josh said, circling me. We've been at this for a few hours now, and he still wasn't satisfied. I'm trying. I gritted my teeth in concentration. Think about it. Water can be solid. Visualize it turning solid, and you might be able to use it to fight as a weapon or protect. Just tell me what to do, I yelled in frustration. My way is obviously not working. Okay, stop. We both paused so I could catch my breath. This might take a while. There's definitely no way I'm training with Alpha today, he muttered under his breath, frustration evident in his voice. What I'm trying to get you to understand is simple. Remember how you used the wind to boost your speed before you ran, and it felt like you were running on air? What I want you to do now is similar. You just have to see it in your head. Relax. You're thinking about it too much. List all the weapons you've seen and the ones Carlton has trained you with. I've seen a knife, whips, spear, bow and arrow and chains. Carlton taught me how to use a knife, a spear, and a bow and arrow I lost off my fingers. Okay, let's make use of the bow and arrow and the knife. You picked up the bow and arrow fast because of your air affinity, but imagine you don't have them with you and someone was coming at you. What would you do? He asked. I'd use my fist. What if the person was faster than you? He snapped his fingers. Then I'd shift? I was confused with his 20 questions. He could just tell me what to do and make this easier on both of us. He was tired, so was I. All he has to do is tell me and end both our miseries. No, I want you to use your water to form a weapon. Visualize a bow and arrow, then you can make one with your powers, he said, like a disappointed teacher. But it's water, I said confusedly. Water that you can solidify. Come on, Your Highness. Surely you can do better. Okay. I shook my limbs and closed my eyes to do as he said. It was harder to concentrate than I thought. Forgot about making it perfect. He whispered, circling me. Just a simple bow is fine. I feel my palms start to get wet as water gathers around them. Good, he continued now. Think of them as something solid. I did as he said and felt it harden. It felt cold to touch, and it was almost smooth but firm at the same time. Good, you're doing it. Keep concentrating, he praised. Now open your eyes. I looked down at my palms and saw the bow resting there. Everything is made with water. Feel it. Study it. Get used to it, he said. Each time to materialize it, it will become easier and better. It honestly felt good. Without weapons, I can stand on my own. It feels good, I whispered. I ran my hands through the length, pulled the string that was made out of water, and marveled at it. This is beyond anything I thought possible. Good. Now let go. I did, and returned back to water and slipped through my fingers. What I want you to do now is materialize the bow over and over again, but with each time, add a design to it until you perfect it to your taste. What are you saying? I ask. He walked in front of me and looked me in the eye as he said his next words. I want you to make something that is unique to only you, something that represents you, something that represents me. It was something I had to think long and hard on, how I wanted to represent myself. Josh is indirectly asking who I am and who I saw myself as. Who am I? Am I still the same girl that was rejected by her mate for her sister? Am I the girl whose parents stood by and did nothing as I was chased out? Or am I the girl whose parents died trying to protect me? Am I the girl who has grown to understand that it's okay to rely on people? How can I channel all of this into one bow? I thought long and hard before I finally started to visualize it. I did it over and over again. It got easier the more I repeated the action. I carved something new in the bow with each materialization. By the time I was done, I was drenched in sweat, but I felt good about what I'd created. What would you name it? Josh finally spoke when I was done. Verdant heartstring, I whispered in awe. Why did you choose it? It represents me. It represents my growth. It represents what I've been through. My insecurities, pain, experience, everything, and how I'm still growing despite all of it. The bow had swirling patterns around it like vines, to represent the union between Jason and I like we perform at the ritual. At the core of the bow, I infused a little of my soul so I can call on it each time without delay. The bowstring itself was a manifestation of power, a shimmering, translucent water-like thread pulsating with a faint luminescence. It represents the strength drawn from my experience, the power cultivated through growth, and the unity born from love. The string resonated with a melodic hum when I drew, echoing the harmony between growth and power. The bow was radiating with such an intense aura that I couldn't conceal it even if I tried. It was perfect. It was me. You have the bow down. Making arrows should be easy for you. He smirked. I thought about what I wanted to carve before I materialize it. I wanted something similar to my bow, but also different. I wanted the tip to be sharp enough to slice through armor-plated steel. A symbol appeared in my mind. It looked like a crest. It looked like a wolf standing proudly, exuding an aura of authority. The floor the wolf stood on was adorned with blooming flowers and foliage. At the base of the crown lay a shield, and it had the 4 elements in its design. A crown was resting at the wolf's head, carved with designs of the moon. I added the image of the crest to the arrow before I materialized them. I made 6 all at once. I unconsciously add the crest to my already designed bow. This is amazing, Your Highness. It's been a while since he called me that, but right now, it felt right. You did great, he said. Thank you. I smiled at him. Why that crest? He asked curiously. I'm not sure. It just appeared in my mind and I felt drawn to it. That's why I added it, I said. Maybe your subconscious is trying to tell you something. He explained. Tell me what? I'm not sure, but it looks like it's trying to help you remember, he said. I studied the design again one last time before I returned them back to just water. Whatever it is that it's trying to make me remember, it's not gonna be today, I said tiredly. The fatigue was just getting to me. You've pushed past your limits, Josh said, studying my form. Get some rest. I'll just work with Alpha tomorrow. It will give you time to recuperate. I yawned and nodded lazily at him. Come on. Let's get you home. He led us back to the car. I groaned at the sunlight entering my eye. What time was it? Was supposed to be this bright at night? I groggily stood up and was startled to find Jason sitting in the same chair he sat the first time I woke up in his room. Brings back memories. Good morning. What are you doing quietly over there? What are you doing? I asked him. It's good afternoon. This is almost 1 o'clock, he informed me. Wait, how long have I been out? Josh said you passed out in the car. I carried you in myself. I had no idea when I passed out. I sighed and stretched my sore limbs. I really did overwork myself yesterday. Did he push you too hard? Tell me if he did. He refused to tell me anything. He was more worried about me than angry with Josh. He didn't. He told me what to do, and I just kept doing it until I perfected it, I said to soothe his worries. What did he make you do? He stood up and moved protectively to me. He didn't make me do anything I didn't want to do. Relax, Jason. I moved closer and held his hands. It was all worth it. I promise. I could show you if you'd like, I said. I was worried about you. I could care less about the exercise, he whispered. I kept trying to wake you. You didn't move for hours, Aries. Hours. Your breathing was even like you were in a state of coma, he said. I'm sorry. I just got caught up in representing myself that I pushed myself to the limit. I didn't mean to make you worry, I said. Don't do that to me again, Aries. I'm not sure my heart can take it. He hugged me to his chest. I know. I love you, Jason, I finally told him. I wasn't sure I could keep it in anymore. He pulled back. You have no idea how long I've wanted to hear those words from your lips, he whispered before he fused his lips with mine, giving me a bruising kiss I felt down to my soul. We don't pull apart until we both run out of air. Our foreheads join as we breathe in each other. I love you, beautiful. I loved you the first time I saw you, he whispered, then kissed my head. We finally pull apart. I was shy, but all I could think about was that I loved him, and he loved me too. Do you want to show me what you had to perfect until you passed out? Yes. Step back, I told him. I closed my eyes and called out Verdant. She immediately materialized on my hands, and I made a couple of arrows. See? I tell him excitedly. This is amazing, Aries. He smiled. It looks sturdy, and the carvings are beautiful. Just like you. Thanks, I gushed. It felt different hearing him praise me. When Josh said it yesterday, I felt motivated, but when Jason says it, I feel empowered. I was waiting for you to wake up so I could be sure you were all right before I left. He said it's my turn with Josh today, and I know he can't wait to break me. Jason's pav. I warmed up while I waited for Josh to meet me at the clearing. I tried to fill myself with as much adrenaline as I could before he came. I heard the sound of a car pulling up around the corner before I saw it. The gravel crunch under his weight as he walked towards me. Alpha, he greeted. I know it was just a sign of courtesy. He was always different. Even before I found out he was the last surviving royal beta. His position was higher than mine before I became Ares' mate. Josh, I nodded back. I saw what Ares did. Good work. Thank you, but we are not here to discuss her progress. We are here to increase yours, he said. I know how you fight, and I know you are good with almost all kinds of weapons. Tell me the one you're most comfortable with, he asked. There are varieties I'm compatible with. It's going to be hard to choose, I said. Okay. Think about it while you shift and have Dax use your powers, he said, and leaned against a tree. You want me to burn my fur? I asked in irritation. I doubt Dax would ever forgive me if I hurt him. I can spend all day trying to remind you it's your power, and it can't hurt you, or we can experiment and find out. Your choice, Alpha. I have all day, he shrugged. There's definitely something wrong with his head. Dax? I called out to my wolf. Do you trust me? I asked him. I wouldn't have come back if I didn't, he said. Good, I said and shifted. Josh finally leaned away from the tree and moved to Dax. Now, I want you to allow your fire consume your body, he said, like he was asking me to make pancakes. I can't believe I'm about to listen to him. Step back, I said through the mind link. The flames started with my pause. I left Dax get used to it before I started spreading it slowly around my body. Increase the flames, Alpha. Don't be a sissy. I expect better from you, Josh teased from the side. Shut up. I'm trying to concentrate so I don't burn my body. I doubt you can explain it to Eris, I said before I slowly increased the flames. The more I increase, the brighter it burns. Pass it through the floor to that log, Josh said. Maintain the temperature. I glanced at the fallen log and started spreading the flames. Each time the flame spread 5 feet away, it goes off. It's not working, Josh. It's not working because you believe it's not. Everything and anything can be used, if you try enough, he said. Try thinking positively. I am not trying to meditate here, Josh. Neither am I in therapy. So don't tell me to think positively, I said in anger. Wow, you must be really angry, he said. Look at what you did, he pointed at the log. It was a flame. The ground was burning, if that was even possible. I did that? I asked in surprise, not taking my eyes away from the burning log. Your anger at me must have fueled you. I guess you don't need to think positively. Anger works, he huffed. I shifted back so I could have a proper conversation with him. I wasn't angry at you, I sighed. You told me to think positively. The only positive thing going on in my life is my daughter and RS. The negatives outweigh the positives. I'm not trying to make this hard on you, man, he replied. I know. I also know that I sent 4 pack members out yesterday, but I can't guarantee all 4 will come back. I sighed in resignation. I thought about it, but saying it out made it true. Look, man, you are not doing this alone. You have people around you that are willing to help. He was trying to encourage me, while I appreciated his effort. It wasn't exactly magically taking away my worries. It's the thought that counts. Thanks, Josh. Come on. Let's do this. I shifted again, but this time I trained my mind to be more calm and focused. Make a protective circle around yourself, Josh said. I'm going to throw things at you. Your circle should be able to burn anything that crosses its path, he said calmly. Josh may be tough, but he knew what he was doing. I do as he instructed. He broke off branches, piled stones, and brought a spear. A spear with a rather sharp blade that is currently gleaming in the sun. I didn't even know he came along with a spear. First came the branches, which were burned off as it got close to the circle. Then came the stones. It broke through, but the flames wiped away from its trajectory. The spear came last. I wasn't sure I could defend myself alone with just the circle. So I made an armor of fire before he threw it. The spear broke through the circle with just minor burns on the wooden handle, but the blade was still sharp as ever. It was headed straight for my heart. I had to increase the intensity of the fire armor to slow it down. I didn't stop until the blade melted off entirely. I was wrong. He doesn't know what he's doing. Damn, Alpha. I didn't even know you could do that, Josh said after a minute of silence. I shifted back and drew in long, ragged breaths. Were you trying to kill me? I yelled. Trust me, you wouldn't be alive if I was trying to kill you. The little shit had the nerve to say that. You threw a spear aimed at my heart. I yelled furiously at him, and you melted the blades off. Win-win, he had the audacity to shrug, like I wasn't seconds away from dying if my plan had failed. What if it didn't work? I believed you would figure something out. He said you should believe in yourself, more Alpha. He patted my shoulders. Was this what you did to Ares? Did you try to kill her too? I moved threateningly towards him. If he so much as squeaks in confirmation, I will break all of his limbs in seconds. I'd never do that to her, but I don't mind doing it to you, he answered and started heading back to the car leisurely while I worked in regaining my composure. Is that it? Are we done? I asked. It shouldn't be this easy. It's only been a few hours. No. You need a water break to calm your racing heart before it beats out of your chest. Then we are doing the real stuff, he said. What the real stuff? I sighed. Remember how I said to think about what weapon you're more comfortable with? He asked. I brought several. When you pick a weapon of your choice, we are going to spar. The difference is, I will be using a real weapon, while you'll be using something made out of fire, he smirked. Exciting, right? Are you sure he's not a psychopath? Dax said in my mind. At this point, I'm beginning to question it myself, I answered as I watched him fumbling around his car. Here, catch, he said, throwing a bottle at me. I caught it midair before I spoke. What are you up to, Josh? I'm giving you time while I do this, he said, and jacked out weapons from his booth. A staff, a katana, chains, another spear, and a whip. He really came here with the intention to maim or kill me. I only practiced the katana because I thought it looked cool. That thing hardly works on a werewolf, I reminded him. Oh. He returned it and turned back to me. So what will it be? He gestured at the rest. I pinched the bridge of my nose to get rid of the incoming migraine. I am going to regret this. The chains I finally chose. Okay. He returned the rest. He nodded at the bottle in my hand. Yes. I threw the empty bottle at him. Let's dance. We walked back to the open field with Josh dragging the chains on the floor to create a grating sound. I don't want you to think I'm unfair. He handed me one of the chains, study it. I'm only giving you 10 minutes to make yours. He went back to rest, mentally counting down the 10 minutes until he got his pound of flesh. He is enjoying this way too much. It took me 5 tries to make a solid chain that lasted more than seconds. When I finally got the hang of it, I made a chain that could act as a staff and a chain at the same time. The handle coiled around my fingers with Athena's wolf form as the design and held steady, while the body burned and cackled with power, and so much energy. 9 minutes and 20 seconds. You are doing better than I thought, he said. I threw the chains back in his direction. You said you wanted a fight, I said with my eyes burning in flames. Actually, he said as he stood up after picking the chains. I said, let's dance. Come at me. I whipped the chains on the floor and we both heard it crack under the power. We began to circle each other, waiting for who would make the first move. Are you sure you want to do this? I asked, taunting him. Mine would hurt you a lot more than yours would to me. Are you worried about me? He maintained his stance, absolutely composed. I made the first move and mashed out with my fiery chains, the scorching arcs slashing through the air. Josh expertly maneuvered around the chains, evading them. His steel chains weaved a defensive web, deflecting the onslaught from mine. You're quick. I'll give you that, I said in acknowledgement. I sneaked my chain of flame towards Josh again, this time with the aim to do damage. With unparalleled precision, Josh counterattacked, his steel chains glinting as they sought to entangle with mine. Despite lacking elemental abilities, his expertise in combat and unwavering focus enabled him to hold his ground against my attacks. Josh was really skilled. I don't know if it's innate or grown. Our surroundings echoed with the clanging clash of chains, the blazing arcs of my fire meeting with his cold steel. Ready to give up yet? I taunt. You know, if you put the energy into fighting, then taunting, you would have gotten a hit since he replied. Josh remained annoyingly composed. His movements were calculated and deliberate. You are boring me, Alpha. His voice carried a serene confidence, one that took practice. As we battled on, I increased the intensity of my flame, attempting to corner him into a circle. However, Josh just kept evading like he had 9 lives. He was strategic and made precise strikes that allowed him to maneuver through while getting closer to me. In a calculated maneuver, Josh lunged forward, his chains entangled with mine and pulled hard. The flames dissipate into thin air as it leaves my hands. We both gasp for breath as it came to an end. I looked at him in stunned surprise and little admiration. Most people would not be that calculating when battling. You fought well, I admitted after I caught my breath. Strength isn't just about power, Jason. It's about strategy, precision, and resilience. You came at me fiercely at the beginning. Then you started backing down, trying to get me where it would hurt less, he said. I was trying not to kill you. Do you know how hot I made that thing? I said to him. I could feel the heat. You striked close to my side more than once, he answered. Besides, you can swing 2 real steel chains. Why did you limit yourself to making only 1? I had 10 minutes to get ready. It took me 5 tries before I could get one done. I wasn't sure I could replicate it easily. It took Aries about 12 to 16 tries before she perfected her bow. Every design on it represented a part of her, and she carved them all with gradually. His words made me even more proud of her. She designed something so perfect to represent who she was. Aries wasn't under pressure, I told him. Yet she passed out from how much energy she used. He pointed out, You could have designed a second chain. I sighed. He was right. I should have at least tried when I disarmed you. You could have easily created another and wrapped it around me. Were you always this good at fighting and giving advice? I asked. Yes, he smirked. Don't go falling for me. I don't think Haley would like that very much, he joked. Yeah, about Haley. I'll call off her security detail tomorrow. As of tomorrow, she will no longer be watched. But she has to join the pack fully very soon to ease the minds of everyone, I informed him. Thank you, Alpha. He bowed in sincere gratitude and respect. Shall we go another round? I promise to give you more time to make 2 chains. He teased me. Sure, I'm not gonna hold back, I said. I wasn't counting on it. We went at it for a few more times. Like I said, I didn't hold back. By the time I was done, I had to call Carlton to take Josh to the pack hospital. He was battered and bruised. He smelled of smoke and char. The next few days, Aries and I alternate training between Carlton, Luke, and Josh. It was getting harder for them to keep up with us, Aries especially. The rate we were getting stronger was becoming too much for them. We go through all this without hearing back from the scouts. If they were dead or alive, we had no idea, but we hoped it was the latter, not the former. Maverick's Pav. We found these 2 near the camp entrance, one of the guards reported. I didn't pause my movement as I pivoted the last crumb of food from my cutlery to my mouth. I wasn't sure what he was called. Cahill, Callio, Carson, whatever it was, I don't care. He didn't enjoy spilling blood as much as Deaton and I, so that makes him irrelevant to me. Back to the situation at hand. A trespasser. How wonderful. I was getting bored waiting for the seer to work her voodoo and search for Aries. And who might we have here? I speak after swallowing. No one. One of them answered fearlessly. What is no one doing in my camp? I don't remember sending invites about hosting a get-together. So I see no reason for you to be lurking about my camp, I said. I wasn't lurking. I was just passing by when your guys dragged me in, no one said. I hummed and thought. What about you? I asked the other. I was traveling in this direction. I'm on my way to visit my sister at the Packover, he said. I was curious. They were both chained and forced to their knees, yet they weren't afraid. You see, I know you know each other, I said, slowly. The first visible emotion flashed across their eyes before it disappeared. That means I'm right. You have 2 options. Option, do you want to open up yourselves? Or option B, do you want me to persuade you? I asked. I can be very persuasive. I will never speak. The first one spat at my feet. What are we? Vikings? Who spits at people's feet anymore? That's just barbaric. Who sent you? How many of you are out there right now? I asked. They both turned their heads away. Let me guess, 4? I said dramatically and looked at them. The second one couldn't conceal his astonishment at me fast enough. I must have guessed right. What can I say? I'm good with numbers. The last group that was sent was 5. I killed 3, 2 escaped. One with a broken leg, I think, and other with minor injuries. I figured they might want to reduce their losses, but still had enough options to expand. The less is more principle. So where's the other 2? I asked the second one. There's nobody else, he stuttered. I've cracked his armor a little. All I had to do now was apply a little more pressure. I promise to not hurt your friends if you tell me where they are, I said in the most gentle voice I could muster, like I was coaxing a kid. He stuttered before he kept quiet after seeing the looks of warning in his companion's eye. It's just us. There's no one else, the companion answered. He was prepared to die, protecting the others. You know I could easily send my guys out there to search for them. If I catch them on my own, their blood will be on your hands, and I'm sure you are not fine with that. I warned gently. For the last time, if you tell us where your friends are, you might have a chance of saving them without any bloodshed. The second one, starts to speak, when the other wrapped his chains around his neck and snapped. I would love to have him on my side, but his loyalty lies somewhere else. You just killed your companion without any hesitation or remorse. I looked at him in a new light. He was going to vomit. Words he had no right to vomit. He answered, Tell me what's stopping me from torturing the answers out of you. I leaned closer to his face, and he didn't flinch like most people. Amusing. I like you. What's your name? I asked. I'm bad with names, but I'm sure I would remember him, unlike the guard that brought him. Mason, he answered. You can tell me your name, but not who sent you or where your friends are. Interesting, I said before standing to my full height. Lock him up, I said. Send people to search around all our entries. I'm sure we'll find a stalker at one of them, I said, and walked off. Alpha, Alpha. The constant calling wakes me up from my nap. It's only been a few hours since I ordered the search. I walked out and halted all noise. What's all the ruckus about? I asked each of them. We found them, but one escaped. He saw us before we saw him, he said apologetically. I don't care about your excuses. This is the second person slipping past your fingers. There won't be a third, I said. Who did you find? I asked. There's something strange about this one. It was too easy, he said, remembering his encounter with the stranger. Don't make me ask you to explain, I sighed in annoyance. Incompetent fools, a lot of them. It was like she wanted to be caught. She didn't struggle or scream like most people do. He said. Bring her here, I instruct. They nodded and left to do it. I'm walking. You don't have to be so rough, the girl said. That's cute. She thinks she's on a vacation or something. After 2 heartbeats, she appears in front of me. They told me you wanted to be caught. Is that true? I asked. Yes, she answered, unperturbed. Why? What do you want? I asked her. We have a mutual enemy. An enemy of my enemy is my friend. I am here to make a friend, she answered. What can you offer me? I asked curiously. I'm not really entertaining her idea, but if she wants to be useful, then I don't mind using her. I can bring her to you, she said. The confidence and spite in her voice tells me she might just deliver. Bring who? I feigned ignorance. Ares, she answered. If I am to do business with you, I need to know who you are, I said. But since time is not on our side, your name will be a good start. She managed to flip her hair with her chained hands before she answered Allison. Allison Brooke. Okay, what do you want in return? I asked. I know nothing in this world comes for free. I just hope her price wasn't too high. I want her gone, she answered. That seems simple enough. Do you mean dead? I taunt. She shrugged. Doesn't matter what she is as long as it's not around me. Jason's Pav. Don't play around with your food bean, I corrected Adriana again for the third time. Aries has just been watching us argue back and forth about the food for the last minute. You should listen to your dad, baby. It's bad to play with food, Aries said to Adriana, who immediately became docile. My daughter no longer obeys me. She has a new captain. I chose to ignore it. I watch them converse as they eat. Like mother and daughter. Best friends. I lock this memory somewhere in my mind. If all else goes bad, I can go back to this moment. Alpha, Justin's back. One of the guys on the border patrol mind linked me. Justin was one of the guys we sent out with the other 3. Is he hurt? I asked in concern. The dead can't share information. My priority is making sure he's alive first. He only has a few scratches. Nothing too major, he said. That's good news. Any news is good news at this point. We've been waiting for a while now, although no one said it. I knew they were losing hope. Is he with the others? It's been a week and 3 days now. He can't possibly be the only one to survive. Surely there was someone else? No. He's alone. That answer just killed the last shred of hope I have. I sighed. Send him to my office and call one of the pack doctors to treat him. I'll join you guys in a second, I instructed him before cutting off the mind link. One of the guys is back. Do you want to come with me to meet him? I asked Aries. She paused her movement before dropping the spoon completely. Did he say anything about the rest? I knew she was blaming herself for them leaving, but she needed to understand we had no other option. I shook my head and watched as her face fell. There could be an explanation for why he's back before the rest. Let's hear him out. What if he confirms our thoughts? What if they're already dead? I could see the wheels turning in her head. Let's not think about that. Finish your meal. Let's go, I said to her. Adriana was done at this point. I decided to carry her off to her peers myself. I'll see you later, Bean, I said, kissing her head. She gives me one of her toothless smiles and leaves. Ready? I asked Aries as I stepped back into the kitchen. She nodded, standing up. I wanted us to head in together. All action came to a halt as we stepped in. Justin was breathing heavily. He looked terrified. Luke and Carlton were silently hovering over him, while Josh just sat quietly at the corner. Alpha, the doctor, bowed in greeting to Aries, and I, Luna. Is it serious? I asked. No. It's just some minor scratches. I've disinfected the wound. He should start healing soon, he said. All right. Thank you. I nodded. He bowed and left the room, leaving the rest of us. How are you, Jason? I asked in concern. I'll live. Unlike. He choked on his last sentence. What happened? Aries whispered soothingly as she took a step towards him. They took Mason and Peter, he answered. His voice was shaky. It was like he was in a trance-like state. Who took them? I asked. The G guards, he stuttered in reply. Do you know if they're still alive? Luke asked. It was far-fetched, but confirmation was needed. I don't know. Okay. Can you tell us what happened? I asked. Can you tell us anything? Where were they taken? Where is the camp? How many guards did you count? Anything. He nodded so fast, I was afraid his head would fall off. After we left, we all went to where Alpha Kane said he sent his guys. Carlton taught us how to track. Both humans and animals. So we did. Josh starts to interrupt when I send a look his way that shuts him up. What happened next? Continue, I said quietly. We found the camp, but they had already left there. It was close to Alpha Kane's pack. They went back to the Red Moon Pack, where he massacred everyone there and turned it to his base. There are 4 entry points to the pack. Mason was the one to confirm, and he drew us a map. He knew more about tracking than any of us. We all agreed to take on each. So we separated and went our separate ways. He took a deep breath before he continued. We agreed to meet back in 2 days and combine all we got before we returned back to the pack together. But they caught Mason and Peter on the first day. It was bad luck. They chose the point where the guards patrolled every 3 hours. He paused. What happened after they took them? Josh asked the question in all our minds. I was good with heights, so I chose to watch from the trees. I got rid of my footprints before I climbed the tree. I could see into the pack. I saw them dragging Mason and Peter in, but only Mason was dragged back to their dungeons. He could be tortured or killed as we are speaking. He finally raised his head up. There was fear in his eyes. He's alive. Tell us what happened next, I said. I heard footsteps. He sent out search parties to look for us. He must have known Mason and Peter were not alone. Although we covered our tracks, he still found some traces. They found our gears where we stashed them so we could travel light. Then they found me. I barely escaped. I counted about 20 guys searching for Allison and I. They were still more inside the camp. The number of guards I counted in total was about 50 guys, he said, shaking. If he had 50 warriors with him, then who was protecting his pack? Can he really afford to take that many people with him? Can you confirm if Allison was caught also? Ares asked the most important question. Sending a snake that could turn around and bite us has been weighing on all our minds. I'm not sure. I couldn't see. It was dark when they found me. I was surrounded. I barely escaped, he muttered. His hands were shaking at this point, along with his legs. If you escaped, then what is making you so afraid? I asked, looking at his bouncing legs. You don't understand. They are crazy. All of them, he said shakily. Maybe. But there's no level of crazy we can't face, Carlton said, and took a step closer to Justin. We found heads, he whispered, pausing his movements. Whose head? Carlton asked quietly. Rogues. Rogues he had brutally killed. He had their heads put on a pike. We found some at their old camp and new ones at Red Moon Pack. He wrote something on all of their foreheads. He looked up shakily. Well, speak up. What did he write? Luke asked impatiently. If there was a message, now would be the best time to write it. He wrote your name, he said, looking at my mate. He wrote Ares. He's sending a message. I said he could have found us since. If he searched well, was he holding back or he couldn't find us? This was very weird. Bizarre. There's a reason he hasn't found our pack yet. Let's not push our luck by sending more guys out until we're battle ready, Luke said. We need to thank whoever was protecting us. You did great, Justin. You should go and rest now. We'll take it from here. Josh patted his shoulders. Justin nodded and stood up on his shaky legs, turning to leave. One more thing. He said there was a room, separate from the others. 2 guards were stationed outside the door at all times. He's protecting something or someone there. It must be the person, Kane said. Is it a male or a female? I couldn't see. The door never opened and he never went in. The guards never left their post unless there was someone there to protect the door. They were robotic about it, he said before leaving finally. This unknown entity might turn out to be a problem for us. If this person was being heavily guarded, he/she might be the major key to getting to Maverick. I had to find a way to break in or break that person out. Remember how we were putting our contingency plan on hold? I said to the rest in the room. We can no longer put it on hold. Luke? I turned to him. Yes. I need you and Josh to work together and make sure the tunnels are safe and free for passage, I instructed him. Wait, do we have tunnels? Carlton asked. Yes. They let outside the pack before, when my parents were still alive. I used to sink in with Luke. I had it modified after the attack. I answered. What do you mean? Carlton asked. Only Luke knows about it. Why don't you go with him instead of Josh? I said. What do you want me to do instead? Josh asked. We are going to come up with a plan for every scenario. But first, let's send a message to Killian and Kane. If we want to beat this guy, we have to work together. We need the numbers to stand a chance, I answered. We'll get to it. Luke spoke up and left together with Carlton. What about me? How can I help? Eris asked. You can help by staying safe with others when the time comes. I answered. You want me to hide when the others are risking their lives for me? No, I want you to live. I can only focus out there on the field if I know you're safe. I can't put your life in danger too, Your Highness. Not just because you are the last living royal, or because you are my Luna, but because you are like a sister to me, as I can't send my baby sister out to fight, Josh said. Then why have I been training like crazy? I don't want you guys dying for me. I can fight for myself, she whispered. I can't live with the guilt if I know I caused your deaths. You won't lose me. Baby and I don't know if you noticed, but Josh is one hell of a fighter. I doubt he'd die easily. He didn't even die when I hit him with my chains, I said, moving close to her. She was terrified. Her heart was racing. She wasn't scared of Maverick. She was afraid for us. Come here. I opened my arms, and she walked right into them. Trust me. I'm gonna fix this, I whispered in her ear. She nodded, finally regaining her composure. I'll go check out the bunker with Luke and Carlton. Call me if you need anything, okay? I whispered. I kissed her forehead after she nodded in reply. Come on, Josh, I said. How can I help? He asked. I noticed Killian looked at you the last time we were there. It was only for a second, but I saw it. I'm going to need you to send him the message directly. If that's okay with you, I asked politely. Maybe I can get into his head through Josh. That man hardly shows interest in anything. Absolutely. Anything to help. Good. That leaves us with Kane, I muttered. A deal was a deal. He had to know all the information we gathered. Whether they were big or small, 3 hours go by before Josh gets back from Jade Wolf Pack. I'd know. I've been counting since he left. How was it? I asked Josh. I sent him alone to Killian's pack. No backup or anything. Killian would be more trusting if it's only Josh. Suspicious as ever. He increased security and patrol around his pack. If you'd sent anyone else, they would have been killed on sight, he answered. Killian was being hyperactive. I can understand why. Did you pass my message? I asked. I told him everything we have on Maverick for now. He asked how many we got back. I told him only Justin returned, but we are still hoping more would come back. I nodded. Did he say anything else? A message? A clue? Anything at all? I asked curiously. He asked how you knew he wanted to speak to me alone. He replied, What'd you say? I told him you noticed shit, he shrugged. So what did he tell you? I asked curiously. He knew my parents. Well, my dad. He only saw my mum a handful of times. What about Aries' parents? I asked. If there was anyone that remembered the royal family, then maybe Aries could learn a little something about them. He said he only met the king once, but he's seen my dad several times. He told me I looked a lot like him, but I have my mother's eyes. Lucky you, I said sarcastically. Did he tell you anything that is remotely useful? No offense to him, but they are not my priority right now. He mentioned something about a rumor about the royals. He was being cryptic about it, Josh said. Does he know? Was that why he signed with us, or did seeing Josh confirm his thoughts? There are so many unknowns about him, and I don't like it one bit. He knows who I am and who my parents are. It's safe to assume he knows who she is. He knew I wouldn't protect an alpha unless a royal commanded it. He said I could respect you, obey you a few times. But I could have easily taken over also. So if I came to his pack, acting as your guard, then he knew a royal was involved, Josh said. I nodded. It made sense. What about the rumors? What's it about? I asked. It's indirectly about Ares. He said the royals can contact the moon goddess. They had something like an access to speak to her. He said, You mean Ares can communicate with the moon goddess if she wants? Ares Pav. Did you notice how jumpy Justin has been since he got back? I asked Jason as we prepared for bed. It's not something I can help him with. He's refused to talk to anyone. He prefers locking himself in his room. He answered, I can't force him to do something he's not comfortable with. It's only been a few days. He'll snap out of it soon. It's our fault he's like that. Let's do something about it. I sincerely felt guilty. I feel like I had a hand in pushing him to the state he's in. I know he might even blame me deep down, but he'd never say it out. He might also blame me for his friends. Hell, I blame myself. He's going to be fine, but if you want, I'll send someone to check on him to ease your mind, he said. Do you promise? I asked. Yes. Now, go to bed. I answer before I let the night lull me into a peaceful sleep in his arms. Come on, Josh. You can't seriously expect me to stop training just because I agreed to stay in the bunker with the others. He was being ridiculous. It was my turn to train with him today, but he keeps saying no. How about this? When we survive, I'll train you till you pass out, he replied. Josh, I support Jason on this one. We would feel better if our mates were safe. Ashley, Madison, and Isabel will be with you, and I'm hoping by some miracle you won't need to fight. We can still train, I said. He opens his mouth to reject me again when I threaten him. If you don't agree, I'm just gonna keep shooting arrows at you. You know how good my aim is, all right? Fine. You asked for it, he finally caved. But first we need to pick up something from Carlton. I don't mind. I shrugged. A small price to pay for training today. I planned to kick his ass. Thoroughly. We drove his car to the border to meet Carlton. I know he is stalling. I just need to pick some shields I had Carlton find for me, he said, before humming a tune. Shields? Yeah. It's the best defense against arrows, he replied. Since you plan to impale me with arrows, I plan to protect myself. The last time I got injured by your mate, Haley almost killed me after I healed, he said. I see Carlton as we pull up near the pack border. Luna, he bowed, and the rest followed after him. Hey man, he nodded at Josh, who did the same back. I will never understand the head thing. Do you have it? He asked Carlton. Yeah. It took me half a day to get these. You'd better not get your ass beaten by Luna. Hey, kick his ass, Luna, he smiled. The loyalty switch is just so fast. Dude, Josh looked at Carlton, who shrugged, offering no explanation. We turned back to the car when the smell of blood and labored breathing attack our senses. The guards immediately became alert. Josh and I stood watching the border as Allison slowly crossed it. She looked battered and bruised. Her arms looked dislocated. There was a gash on her head and legs. I made it, she whispered weakly before passing out. One of the guards quickly held her head to stop it from hitting the ground. What the hell just happened? Carlton muttered, asking no one in particular. Josh, pick her up. Let's take her to the hospital, I instructed, breaking whatever stupor they were in. He immediately rushed to action and placed her in the back seat of his car. As we drive, I mind-link Jason to inform him. Jason, I called out. Hi, beautiful till this day. This nickname still made the butterflies in my stomach flutter crazily. I shake myself out of it. Allison's back, I inform him. Where is she? He asked. We are heading to the PAC's hospital. She's heavily injured, I informed him. I'll meet you there, he said before cutting off the link. We reach the hospital a few minutes later, and Josh wastes no time carrying her inside. Dr. Cian, Dr. Cian, Josh yelled as he ran in. In here, he finally answered. Bring her here, he gestured to the empty room he was standing in. Allison just happened to open her eyes as her back hit the bed. I need to meet the alpha. There's something I have to tell him, she whispered repeatedly. You need to treat yourself first. The doctor stopped her attempts at getting up. I need to run some rest on your blood, he said, and drew some. She passed out before he left. Jason came in at that moment. What's wrong with her? Has she said anything? He asked. The doctor just went out now. We'll know what's wrong soon. The only she said was that she needed to speak with you. Okay, now we wait. Let's go down while we wait. The smell of blood is too pungent, he said. Training was officially cancelled. We headed out while the doctor treated her. We go back in only after a few hours. Her clothes were off now. She was in scrubs. This was the most docile I have ever seen her. She turned her head at the sound of our footsteps. Alpha, Luna, she said, and attempted to sit up. You don't have to push yourself. You can just speak that way, Jason said, halting her intentions. I saw him. She paused. I saw Maverick. After we all separated, he sent several of his guys to find us. He captured me. I don't know about the rest. I barely escaped with my life, she said in a weak voice. Her story was corroborated with Justin's. The question he couldn't answer back then had been answered now. She was caught, along with Mason and Peter. Peter was dead, but we had no news about Mason. Justin told us that. He confirmed about 50 guards. Jason tells her. I wasn't sure he escaped. I was locked up for days. I was starved and beaten. I only escaped when the patrols dropped one of his keys by mistake. I used it to unlock the cage I was keeping, she said. Why do I feel like something's wrong with her story? He injected me with wolfsbane and one other herb. The herb stopped my body from pushing out the wolfsbane and healing, she said. Tears gathered in her eyes at the memory. She was either telling the truth or a damn good actress. You're gonna be fine now, Jason pacified her. At the sign of little concern from him, her eyes glowed in joy. She obviously still had a thing for my mate. I had to repress the growl that was about to leave my lips. Now was not the time. I saw the person he was hiding behind the door. It was only for a split second, but I saw the person. It was a girl, and I think Maverick's using her to find Ares. After Allison's little side of the story, we all left the hospital to give her some rest. The only useful thing she said was the unknown entity we have been trying to find. Do you buy her story? I asked both of them. I wasn't worried about her overhearing our conversation. We asked the doctor to give her a sedative while her body worked on healing itself. Only the part about the girl. Everything else is to be determined, Jason answered. Knowing Allison, her injuries could be self-inflicted, Josh added. At least they weren't buying into her spawned tale. I'll have Carlton watch her for some days to see if she does anything suspicious, Jason said. I'm guessing training's being cancelled? I turned to Josh in question. He nodded his head so fast it looked like he was glad Allison interrupted our schedule. Please try to show your happiness a little more, would you? I rolled my eyes at him. Home? Jason asked. He made a conscious effort to hide his smile. Yeah, I whispered. I don't walk in fully when I'm dragged off by two blurry faces. It's been a while since you hung out with us, Eris. We scarcely see you around the pack, and when we ask Alpha, he just says you're training, Madison said. We were gathered in the common room with snacks. She dragged me here. The moment I walked through the door with Jason saying we had to catch up. When I told her I had to go check something with Jason, she laughed and told me it could wait. Here I am in the midst of 2 girls and a toddler. Hanging out. I don't even know when she got here. I'm sorry, Madison. A lot has been going on, I said. Yes, a lot. Adriana echoed after me, nodding her head. Her cute voice makes us laugh a little. Should you be here, baby? I asked her seriously. Where were her peers? I want to be with you, she said and hugged my thighs. Her clinginess was cute, but I want to come clean with Madison and Isabel now. I promise to play with you later, I said, trying to coax her. She hugs me tighter. I decided to call for backup. Jason. Could you send someone to pick Adriana? I went straight to the point. Isn't she supposed to be with Martha? Martha's the one watching them today, Jason said. I don't know how she got here. Please come and pick her up. I want to tell Madison and Isabel everything I said. Everything? Everything, I confirmed. Hold on. I'm coming to get her. He comes in a few minutes later. Hello, ladies, he said to Madison and Isabel. Hi, beautiful. He kissed my cheek. Swoon? Madison and Isabel echo each other. Come on, Bean. No, her muffled voice came from by legs. We'll get ice cream. Daddy. She immediately stretched her hands towards him. We chuckle at her cuteness. I turn my attention back to them after they left. I promise. I'm going to tell you everything I said. You don't have to if you're not ready, Isabel said, and Madison nodded in agreement. I am, I said, and materialized verdant. They were stunned and silent. Is that even real? How'd you do that? They ask after each other. Let me officially introduce myself. I'm Ares. Well, my parents mostly argue on the name. My dad wanted Arabella. My mom wanted Ares. My adoptive parents gave me Ares because it was engraved on my bracelet, but my parents were the late King Zalaver and Queen Eva. I spent the next few hours recounting everything that had happened until now, filling their heads with so much information about things happening right under their noses. They didn't interrupt until I was done. I understand. That's what Luke said he couldn't tell me until Alpha permitted it, Madison said. I get why you wanted to hide that fact. I had no idea Josh has been traveling all this while just so he could find you. Isabel said, that's so much loyalty for someone you haven't met. I know, and I'm grateful for it, I replied. Alpha really hit the jackpot on this second mate thing, Madison joked. I was the one that won the lottery. I got to meet all of you. I wouldn't change what happened to me for a second, I said. We're happy you're part of our lives too, Madison. That night we became closer than before, and I just knew I had made some really good friends. It's been 3 days now since Allison was hospitalized. Carlton said she hasn't done anything suspicious. But honestly, that made her more suspicious to me. I'm going to speak to her before she's discharged. I'm going to see Allison. I'll be back in a bit, I said to Jason through the mind link. Be careful. Better still go with Josh, he replied. It's fine, Jason. It's just Allison, I said. Okay. He finally conceded. Don't hesitate to call me if anything happens, he said. I smiled even though he couldn't see it. I will. I walk the entire distance from the pack house to the hospital. Greetings fly as I pass each ward. I smiled or waved in reply at all of them. I was wondering when you'd show up. Her voice rang out as I reached her door. It wasn't as pleasant as it was when Jason was here. You were expecting me. I'm flattered. I ignore her jab. She stopped fumbling with her bag and its contents. You're here to talk. Let's talk, she said. Fine. I want to hear the real version of what happened to you out there. I got straight to the point. It's gonna be a long story. I could tell you or I could show you, she replied. Which would you prefer? She asked. I should have taken Jason and his offer and came along with Josh. What do you mean? You see, I didn't tell you guys everything that happened. She moved closer to me. I made a deal with Maverick. I promised I'll bring you to him, and he'd help me get what I wanted. This talk was not going how I played it in my head. What do you mean? I've been waiting for you. I knew you'd come here alone because you don't trust me. She said you were right not to trust me, by the way. Before I could reply, she blew a strange powder at me and my muscles froze. Then she injected me with wolfsbane. Jason, I said weakly in the link. What's wrong? He asked frantically. She snapped a twig at that point, and I couldn't hear him anymore. Yes. I just broke your connection. They saw me entering here. Your plan won't work, I said weakly. It's a good thing I brought a wig. She waved a wig that looked like my hair. They wouldn't know it's not you when I put on your clothes. She smirked. Jason would know, I said, I told him. She shrugged. Then I'm going to buy some time. That was the last thing she said before she knocked me out. Jason's pav. Something's wrong. I could feel it in my bones. I dump everything I'm doing and head down to the hospital. Aries wouldn't have called me like that if she was safe. I sincerely hope I'm just overreacting. Has anybody seen Aries? I yelled the moment I stepped foot inside the building, looking around frantically. She was here earlier, but she left quickly. Someone answered. How long again was that? I questioned him. About 2 minutes ago, he replied. What about Allison? Where is she? She was the last person that saw her, I asked frantically. She's still in her room, a nurse answered. I don't bother saying thank you before I dash through the corridors, heading straight for that swine. Although Carlton didn't see anything strange about her, I shouldn't have let my guard down. Where is she? I asked as I stepped foot into her room. She was packing her bags, getting ready for the discharge. Alpha, she answered in that meek tone of hers. I don't have time for pleasantries, especially fake ones. Where is she? Are you talking about Luna? She left earlier, she answered meekly. If I find out you're lying to me, I'm going to return double the injuries you just healed from. I'll make you wish you were back at Maverick's, I said through clenched teeth. Josh, I need you to find Aries. Something's wrong, I tell him before I head out myself to look for her. The hospital was in chaos now. They know I would never joke about something this serious. Jason, I can't find her scent anywhere. I tracked her footprints outside the hospital, but I don't think she's in the pack, Josh tells me after about an hour. This can't be happening. Carlton, are you sure Allison didn't leave her room? I'm sure, but I had Cole bring some cameras to install in case something like this happened. He replied. Good thing he thought of that. Show me the energy and aura I was giving off made everyone take a step away from me. We all watched the camera footage from the last 3 days she was hospitalized. Nothing suspicious happened. Aries walked in on her own, but there was something strange about how she walked out. The clothes, shoes, and hair were the same, but that was not how Aries walked. Aries don't walk that way, I pointed out. It's Allison. Get me Allison, I said calmly. Now was not the time to be irrational. To deal with a snake, I have to become a snake. Carlton and Josh rushed out to get her while I paced around my office, wearing more holes into my carpet. They come back a few minutes later, breathing heavily. She's gone, Josh said, panting. We checked. No one saw her leave the hospital. But her bag is gone, and she's gone too. It's like she disappeared, Carlton said. I doubt she has magic and wings to leave unnoticed. So why do you find me something? Anything that could actually lead us to where she took her. I looked between them. Whatever they see in my eye has them tripping over their feet to go search. There's someone I need to call. Then I have to inform Killian and Kane. We might not have to wait anymore for Maverick to come to us. I plan to bring the war to him. Cole, I called. He is one of the best trackers I know, and I'm sure he can find out where Maverick took Aries. Alpha, I need you back at the pack house. Immediately. I didn't give him a chance to refute before I hung up. I went back to the hospital to try and catch any of their scents, so I can trace their movements. Allison was still at the hospital, but for some strange reason, Arizona was missing, like she disappeared. I followed Allison's footprint to the back of the hospital before I lost it completely. The sound of multiple footsteps grated my ears, but I knew it must be the search party Carlton or Josh just organized. Alpha. We didn't find anything. The guards on duty said she didn't leave the pack, Carlton informs me. Are all checkpoints around the pack confirmed? I questioned him. Yeah, I don't say anything and let my thoughts fly. What was I missing? No one saw Allison leaving, but they saw Aries. Except Allison pretended to be Aries. Does she have insider help, or has she been planning this for a while? These questions fill my head as I make my way back to my office. Cole's car was already parked. He must have ignored a few traffic rules to get here this fast, but I appreciate the timeliness. Alpha, his ever-impassive, stoic face greets me as I walk in. They took Aries. I need your help to find her. I went straight to the point. Carlton and Josh will go over everything with you. I want you to help me find as much information about Maverick as you can. Aries never mentioned what pack he's from, so I don't know where to search from. And I doubt he's still at the Red Moon pack. He nodded in reply. If anyone can track this bastard, it would be Cole. Please get me Luke on your way out. I paced again while waiting for Luke. You should have gone with her, repeats in my head. I blame myself. If anything happens to her, I don't think I can live with myself. Jason Luke voiced sounds behind me as he entered. I've sent more guys out there to look for them. I just nod in reply to his words. Do you know where the blueprints to the pack is? And get the hospital blueprints also. He spent more time in my office since I met Aries. He's rearranged and filed all documents to their appropriate place, so it's only right I ask him to find it for me. Oh, it's right here, he said, and pulled open a cabinet and brought out 2 papers. I spread the packs down on the desk and we both looked at it. These here are the 4 exits we use, I said, circling them. This is one that leads to the bunker. Then out I circled another spot on the paper. Is there any other exit we don't know of? I asked. He paused in thought before answering if she took Luna from the hospital. Maybe the exit is close to there. She couldn't have dragged her far without someone noticing, he said. I pulled up the hospital blueprints. There were only 2 exits, the front and the back. The back exit was facing the direction of the training arena, but still, it was too far to drag a person without getting noticed. What if she made her own? Luke asked. We compare both blueprints and circle the likeliest places she could have chosen. Pass that tablet. I need to confirm something. I play back the video of Allison in the hospital. There were moments unaccounted for, like her bathroom breaks and when she had to leave the room for fresh air. I paused at a particular time and zoomed in. That's dirt, right? Luke whispered beside me. Yeah. She dug herself a new exit.